Within the treasury departments, how does AI play a role?
Cash flow forecasting. When it comes to banking, you buy money and sell money. When it comes to liquidity management, cash flow forecasting plays a big role. And that's where AI can give predictive intelligence for you to monitor. As a banker, I've experienced for 40 years how difficult it is.
Do you think AI can replace finance professionals?
No way. You need a CFO, or management accountant, or technicians in terms of compliance architecture. Financial accounting, a repetitive task can be automated. You have to have full understanding of the various policies, procedures. When I come from a financial profession, and then I
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Green Generation podcast, where we decode everything in today's episode about finance, sustainability, and AI. I am Shruti Sitaraman, your host, media entrepreneur, and someone who's fully curious about how we can create a more sustainable living and a more safer sustainable living, in fact. And joining me in conversation today is Dr. Seetharaman, a global leading voice in everything sustainability, an advocate for sustainability, but also one of the propagators who's practiced green banking for the longest time, now also an author of Corporate Consciousness, the book. Are you ready for some finance talk about AI
ready
and sustainability?
Yes, focus.
Okay, so the question is, are banks really using AI internally, or is it just a hype? Is it just a nice thing to talk about?
No. It's real. Real. Simply, if you look at the finance, they are rewriting the finance. How? Management accounting, bookkeeping, financial accounting, compliance. All this integral part of banking finance. Banks like SBI, ICICI, Axis Bank, they decoded all the history and they brought in new artificial intelligence systems to do auto-driven reconciliation, matching concept. So they do high level of interpretation in terms of financial statements. And compliance model is created to have integrated compliance architecture, especially when you're a bank. You are global truly. So your compliance norms should be globally unified. So tremendous amount of solutions have come in through artificial intelligence in current context, and they're working well.
Then how do you think AI is helping reduce the fraud in banks?
AI can help in many forms. See, if transactions are delayed, there are reasons. If reconciliations are not done on time, there are reasons. If compliance architecture is not monitored properly, there are gaps in compliance. There could be fraud. If expenditure control is not there, if revenue generation logic is flawed, in terms of interest calculation, for example. So, the account setting and the characteristics of these accounts, if it is not measured properly, managed properly, proper accounting system is not integrated, then you have frauds. And AI is a solution to integrate them and take out all the repetitive tasks to systems through machine learning and give only the judgment work, high level interpretations and analysis to ensure decision support comes in. They become financial engineers.
And what about anti-money laundering?
That's another area. Fraud can come in with the trade, finance, or remittances. Money laundering is normal in global terms. How the system is unified to prevent these exceptions is what the AI system is providing. So that will set the pattern of detecting these transactions. Hundreds of thousands of transactions a day takes place. It will distill those specifics and give report selections, only those which are valid. And those which are not valid also segregate. It means fraud can be monitored.
And does AI help with credit risk?
It is. Credit risk management is a very, very big subject, and it could be sectoral risk, right? Character of the borrower, capacity of the borrower, if it is an individual or institution, doesn't matter. Lending is an art because you need to recover and you make money out of lending.
Yeah.
What pricing, what compliance framework you have to adhere to, and if it is not done, credit risk is really damaging in terms of overall recovery as well as non-compliance. So that's where consumer protection comes in. So it is truly monitored by AI systems. Retail enhancement is possible through AI. Corporate banking also plays a lot of faith in AI systems so that it can be, the transaction which we are taking days now can be executed in a few seconds or hours.
And now, for the common man that's listening who cares about loan approval process, which always is a long drawn process, can AI actually help reduce the time taken for loan approvals?
Retail enhancement, as I said, is transaction-based process. There are loan criteria: car loan, consumer loan, or housing loan, or mortgage loan, or green loan. You have systems which will, penetrate the customer and give weightage, and the risk is also amplified simultaneously. And yes or no, the answers comes in minutes.
And what about accounting reconciliation?
Accounting reconciliation, whether it is central bank reconciliation or interbank reconciliation or nostril reconciliation in global terms, accounting ledger, general ledger reconciliations, these are all, nuances which you have to do it online real time. It's happening now through AI. Any gaps in the past has created enormous amount of complications. Now, real time it is getting solved. This is an absolute boom. Artificial intelligence is really saving time and it is saving the overall cost.
Okay, and what about AI helping with KYC processes?
KYC process, whether it is documentation, whether it's facial expression, whether it is the other card or identity, right? You need to have PAN card at times in India. So, or if you look at the past, what is some systems gives you entry to the banking system. So these are all codes which are required to be complied in tandem. Simultaneously, if it is integrated through artificial intelligence systems and customer account is open in minutes, what else you want? You save a lot of time, and now it's demanded by the customers now. They are demanding now in real terms. Give me the account, give me the ATM card, give me the credit card. Let me start doing the transaction instantly. Why not?
But is our chatbots or AI only for customers? Can we not integrate it into companies, into banks?
Yes, it is already integrated. If you look at operations side of it, whether the collections or clearing or remittances or trade, a lot of nuances in terms of practice. The policies, procedures, process are all embedded into the chatbot and continuously updated. And customer queries can be solved through online real-time communications through chatbot. So it is happening already.
Chatbot for HR.
Yeah.
Okay. And with financial forecasting, does AI play a good role?
If you look at the predictive intelligence AI has got, what you've seen is already cropping. See, the role of the chief financial officer, if you look at it, management accounting, budgeting, a strategic roadmap for 3 years or 5 years, and annual budgets, and again segmented into different profit centers at different periods. All this can be predicted, forecasted, and your asset liability management, your revenue forecast, your cost forecast, capital or revenue, cost basis. All these things in strategic term has to be envisioned, and artificial intelligence in today's context gives you the right forecast and you fine tune it. The job of the CFO now is to fine tune it and then the vision translate into action.
Okay, and about audit teams, how does AI help with that?
Computer assisted audit techniques. You need qualified cyber experts in audit team. You need qualified chartered accountants fully equipped for system assisted audit techniques. So the data now is completely scanned, and high risk areas, medium risk areas, low risk areas are all segmented and highlighted to you for you to do the audit planning. And that's where the audit efficiency comes in.
And financially, how does AI help improve the customer experience as well?
It's a huge opportunity, isn't it? See, when transactions are really translated into action instantly, then the customer experience becomes more meaningful. Time delay, see, is not acceptable in today's context. Instant ratification of transactions, if there is an exception. Otherwise, simultaneous acceptance is what customer demand online real time. So, if it is not visible to you, a financial institution is not giving you such opportunity, they don't stand. So, customer demand, it's no more location centric, it's information centric. It's not product centric, it's consumer centric. It's not primitive anymore, it is generative in terms of reports and the allied opportunity for customer value advantage.
And does AI help with detecting expense fraud internally?
Straight away, see, if you look at the patterns at which the expenses are done, whether it is operating expenses, administrative expenses, payroll expenses, variable or fixed expenses, capital or revenue expenses, all these expenses are monitoring the consumption patterns, policy deviations, duplicate invoices. All these are monitored simultaneously and real time and then exposed. So definitely it's for expenditure control, it's a major tool.
And within the treasury departments, how does AI play a role?
Cash flow forecasting. See, when it comes to banking, you buy money and sell money, right? You lend or invest, that's a different issue. When it comes to liquidity management, cash flow forecasting plays a big role. And that's where AI can give predictive intelligence for you to monitor, measure in tandem the gap analysis or the additional borrowings required, or seasonal factors needs to be measured, and then you make your dynamic liquidity statements, and then you make a forecast, and that cannot be done manually easily. You spend number of days. As a banker, I've experienced over 40 years how difficult it is. The currency gap analysis, cumulative gap in terms of net cash outflows in the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, matching assets and liabilities, and creating a net cumulative gap, and make sure you have funding to fix it, borrowing to fix it. These are all very laborious process. Now artificial intelligence do it so easily, and the initiatives are taken responsibly.
And about generative AI, do you think banks are exploring that?
Straight away, when it comes to report selections, whether it is corporate social responsibility report or sustainability report or annual report or board report today, the history is well known to the system. Now, predictive intelligence is available through AI. Now, what has happened, what transpired, what report selections we need to submit in terms of compliance model, with the board report or management report, are all embedded and synchronized in real time. So it's a tool where generative AI is applied.
And what about reducing operational costs? AI helps with that too, right?
Straight away, if you look at the cost can be reduced in terms of policies. Change the policy can review cost reduction. Excessive expenses, any form, you have to look at it line by line. Monitoring consumption can help you to reduce the cost where there is overspent. And again, the overall technology replacing unnecessary process procedures can also reduce cost. Saving time of the human capital and making sure they are productively deployed. Inefficiencies are spotted instantaneously through AI deployment. So it's going to help you for cost reduction in direct terms.
And with regulatory compliance,
Mhm.
how does AI play a role?
It's an integrated architecture. Today's context, complying with regulation is the first priority for any chief executive because banking is driven by public responsibility, public accounting, and more than the shareholders' money is customer deposits. So all the more reason regulatory compliance is ultimate, whether it is countries' regulations or international regulations, whether it is capital or borrowings, or for that matter, the debt to equity. You have to disclose in transparent terms. If you are not in compliant with any of the regulatory framework, it gets exposed by penalties and it comes in open forum. So artificial intelligence gives you the early warning, track them, and then highlight them, give them the alert, and make sure that you have actionables, and then monitor these actions with an activity calendar, and you get action fulfilled. This is the way to go. This is how the grading of these institutions are also looked at. And mind you, regulators are watching online real time what you're doing in terms of compliance or audit.
And with this much use of AI that can be beneficial, do you think banking is becoming more inclusive?
It is. In terms of banking is a public infrastructure. In terms of execution, people centric. If you cannot include every sections of the society, including marginalized society or rural societies, the poor and downtrodden. Again, it's not gender biased. You have to make sure that you have support systems for women, especially needs, industry specifics which are to be taken care, including handicraft or small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. Fintech guys, for example, they are taking alternate database and then come to support systems. So all sort of options are open in today's context, and the solutions are available through artificial intelligence.
And you think AI can also help with document management?
Undoubtedly, if you look at the big picture, archiving these documents for n number of years, 10 years, 15 years, it's not a joke. Hundreds of thousands of pages each day generated. And if you're going to store them, stack them, maintain them, it costs you dearly. Now everything is optically stored. And it's not only in your systems, it's also, you put in hybrid cloud and you draw whenever you want. So you save space, you save, again, the cost, enormous amount of the travel possibilities whenever you want, when there is an enforcement or legal reason why you need to have this information.
Yeah, and talking about all of these pros, do you think that banks are actually building innovation labs for AI?
There are banks who are doing innovation labs. SBI has got innovation lab, artificial intelligence lab. ICICI has got, and HDFC has got an AI lab. So innovation is integral part of the functional management in today's context. And especially with the advent of AI, you also have to simultaneously keep updating yourself what's happening in the global scene. Virtually, you have a digital advantage and the consequential impact from the hackers.
Yeah.
So they also reinvent these, cultural systems through intrusions or other more. So innovation labs are continuous, constant, and customers also demand constant endeavor towards creativity and product solutions. So it's a must, and good institutions always build innovation labs.
And now for my most asked question. Do you think AI can replace finance professionals?
No way. You need a CFO, or management accountant, or technicians in terms of compliance architecture. Because financial accounting, a repetitive task can be automated. Management accounting is judgment issue, and it's a forecast. Not only numbers. You have to have full understanding of the various policies, procedures, and the market dynamics. So it requires tremendous amount of judgment. That's why the CFA plays a role. He's a heartbeat away from the CEO. When I come from a financial profession, and then I was a CEO running a global enterprise for a very long time. So It is easy if you're a chartered accountant or a CFO and move from there to the business, because you know the internal service and how it should work, and the manual service how it should work, and then build policies and procedures and process. Enterprise risk integration comes in, then the business can be nourished. You need a CFO and you need AI systems. It has to coexist.
Yeah, and I think what we're getting from this is that AI is so much more than just the hype and the chatbots. If used rightfully, especially in this aspect, I think it is enhancing what the silent backbone of banking is, which is finance and accounting, right?
That's a good summary you brought in. Yeah, it is. The way it's evolving, the number of people can be reduced and replaced through artificial system, but the finance professionals can be redeployed for strategic advantage, compliance monitoring, because constantly the regulations are also evolving.
Mm.
Financial accounting is one aspect. Another government's a financial system encompasses skills. You need the qualified people to run the enterprise.
Absolutely. I think if you use AI right, it can be your best enabler.
Yeah.
So if you liked watching this episode, don't forget to share this with someone who enjoys fintech, future needs, future trends, or just finance in general. Hopefully you did enjoy watching this one. We will see you in the next one.